This podcast is a humble offering, a space where Indian and American hearts meet and where the spiritual conversations light the path forward. Welcome to As We Speak, as presented by Namaskar America. Today, we are honored to welcome the most esteemed and respected Prabhujis of the India Heritage Foundation, Shri Shuklambhara Das and Shri Sarvalakshana Das. This organization is dedicated to promote and preserve Indian traditions while fostering peace and well-being for all. In today's conversation, they reflect on a question that transcends cultures and generations for years. What is the real purpose of human life, and how does this version differ from the version the modern world often chases? So let us listen, reflect, and take a journey inwards together. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, we humbly request you to do so. Your support encourages us to bring more meaningful content. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, welcome to our first podcast. And I want to ask you, you are still very young and very dynamic personality. How does this spirituality attracted you? In this 21st century, so many attractions are there, and how does the spirituality, Krishna consciousness attracted you?
Hare Krishna, Namaskar, Namaste to all the viewers of Namaskar America. Spirituality per se was not my initial goal. The questions about why people are suffering when I was studying and when I was working, so these questions always bothered me for a solution. Whether people are rich, they are suffering. People are poor, they are naturally suffering. And even people who are very educated, who have just like my uncle, who was the topper of one of the engineering colleges. So I was seeing him suffering. He is now in America. I have seen him how much trouble he has undergone before marriage, after marriage, just to come and settle down in America. So these questions were bothering me, and then I used to resort to many satsangs, lectures, many Bhagavad Gita classes. But none of those sessions gave me complete satisfaction to the questions I had. Unless I reached ISKCON Bangalore temple, attended many sessions in ISKCON Bangalore, the devotees' lifestyle, all the questions they were able to answer from Srila Prabhupada's books, that was convincing. And then the spirituality journey started. Until then I was just roaming around to understand, is there any alternative for solving all the problems of life? So that's where Srila Prabhupada's organization, ISKCON Bangalore, their activities, the devotees' conduct, their behavior, their gentleness, their warmth, all these attracted me to Krishna consciousness. And of course, it's a whole package where there is a lot of sumptuous, delicious prasadam, kirtans, beautiful deities, festivals. All these are a package for the senses to get attracted. Otherwise, we will surely get attracted to something outside of Krishna consciousness, which is attractive naturally to everybody. And it is purely because of Srila Prabhupada's organization, which has come through as his mercy through the devotees' blessings. I am today here I've been able to practice Krishna consciousness so long in the devotees association.
So how does the journey started, like your journey started from ISKCON Bangalore, and then you moved to Vrindavan, and you served many years in Vrindavan. Then have you ever dreamed of coming to America and serving here as a president? Have you ever thought like this? How does that whole transition happen?
So as soon as we join the temple, there is something called induction program, training program, as it happens in any corporate world. So the fundamental understanding as soon as we join a temple as a full time we are taught that we have to be a humble servant, and we are given all menial services irrespective of whatever education we have pursued, whatever job we were doing earlier. So in that perspective, all of us, we knew that we are here to do service to Srila Prabhupada in whatever capacity, responsibility is given to us, no matter somebody is a president or a bhakta. So in that way, personally, I didn't have any desire to even become a temple commander, but some of my peers, they used to say during my bhakta stage, Prabhuji, you are fit for temple commander. But always I used to think, why is he thinking like this? I am here to do service. So it's, I think, Vaishnava's blessings and Prabhupada's mercy that I have got a greater responsibility. That president name is just to ensure that I am responsible and I execute that service to the organization for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. So in that way, America or India or Africa, we are not really concerned as long as we are fit to continue to execute our Krishna conscious duties. We are ready to do service anywhere. Yes, I didn't dream of ever coming to America. I was thinking I'll be happily serving in Vrindavan. It's Prabhupada's desire and then senior devotees' desire to serve. So as long as I've been asked to do service, I'll continue. And if I am asked to do service elsewhere, any other service, we'll continue to render those kind of services.
Prabhuji, you served many years in Vrindavan as a brahmachari. Now you are here as serving in America as a brahmachari. What difference you see serving in Vrindavan or in India and serving here in America?
Service, I don't see any much difference. I see here it's lot more responsibility than in India, where the organizations are equipped with many employees, many help in terms of services. So here, the only difference I see, what 10 devotees do in India, 1 devotee has to do here. So that is the only difference. And even in spite of that, Prabhupada has empowered all the devotees, not only me, like you and many others, are able to perform extra services which we are inherently, we have agreed to perform. So apart from that, we have the same deities, same kirtan, the same protocol what Prabhupada has given, we are able to follow. But in terms of resources, there is not much resources as in India, and that is good, a positive challenge for devotees to improve and accelerate our services to Srila Prabhupada. So in that way, it's a blessing in disguise if you have the positive spirit of seeing Srila Prabhupada's mission from a broader perspective.
So as you said, you got attracted by the whole environment of ISKCON Bangalore, and so many questions got answered. So, but today is the age of AI. Everything you can just type on ChatGPT, your answers will come, and you have. So how does this Krishna consciousness relevant today when your all answers are being questioned by ChatGPT?
ChatGPT, when it gives answers, in the bottom you should see there is a statement. ChatGPT can make mistakes and please look at the details properly. So even though we are in the era of AI, ChatGPT, many fantastic robots are created today which can perform the function of kung fu. It can lift heavy things, and it's very lightweight, almost tending towards replacing human beings. But still we have to understand from Bhagavad Gita that there is something called soul and consciousness which is in these bodies, which is also robotic, and those robots made by man doesn't have that soul or consciousness. And as these bodies can make mistakes, the robots also can make mistakes. So we want to resort to something from ancient Vedic timeless scriptures which is spotless, where there are no mistakes, and we want to endure that path rather than enduring something which is fallible. So even though there is tremendous advancement in technology, in AI, in electronics, that still can be used in Krishna consciousness for progressing in spiritual life, avoiding all those which may not be favoring my spiritual life. There is an intelligent way Srila Prabhupada has given us a formula where all those revelations which are happening in the modern science can be used in Krishna service. Otherwise, it can be heavily misused, as we are seeing, and even people who are creating are able to establish that there is high potential for misuse than for positive use. So we devotees have an important role to play to understand how this technology works and give a positive attraction for those who are interested in that to come to Krishna consciousness, but not get trapped in that.
There is in India, there is a culture of humility, humbleness, submissiveness, but we see in America there is a lot more individuality, a lot more freedom. So how the principles of Krishna consciousness, who inherently teaches us to become submissive, humble, and we see the culture in America is very different. So how does the Krishna consciousness align with this geography?
As we can see in the history, Srila Prabhupada started this Hare Krishna movement in 1965, coming alone from India with very less money and no support practically, alone here, landed in Boston. And how intelligently, smartly he engaged all those Americans in Krishna consciousness. Within less span of time, he has drawn them towards Krishna consciousness with the power of chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, and by providing them prasadam, there is a high possibility to channelize the passion for freedom, individuality, what Americans inherently are seeking for in Krishna consciousness, by giving them a Krishna conscious purpose. So, Krishna consciousness does not negate individuality, Krishna consciousness does not negate freedom, but it gives a new blossoming area for people to use it in the right way. Today, mostly the freedom and individuality is misunderstood based on the wrong concept that I am the body. So if we can make them transcend the bodily limits and come to the level of spirituality on the platform of soul, all those attributes of freedom, individuality which Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita can be rightly utilized. Otherwise, it is going to create pain for those individuals, because freedom and individuality is applied on a fleeting platform. It is not on a spiritual, eternal, permanent platform. So that is what we offer a solution to all those who seek freedom, individuality, to come to Krishna consciousness, where they get a permanent platform for executing their real freedom, and their real individuality can be revoked.
Back in India, when you were still in college or school days, these questions were attracting you, like why people are suffering. So how was your family background? Were they religious? Were they going to temples? All those things were there?
Yeah, I was born in a so-called Brahmin family, with orthodox family, simple family, with a lot of rituals, yagnas, then shloka chanting, and lot of satsangs, and going to many religious functions. I was taken by my mother for all these kind of places. But as you rightly said, coming from a modern education perspective, these were nice, but it was not giving me a solution for the current problems. But it was nice hearing chanting of so many mantras for the yagnas, and family was also involved in that. But none of these ritualistic ceremonies, none of these activities of going to temple gave us also a solution as a simple family in a simple place in Bangalore. So that's when Srila Prabhupada's universal understanding of Krishna consciousness, Bhagavad Gita, can uplift people like me who are from simple backgrounds, giving us a purpose of life. So my parents do not know what is the purpose. When there is suffering, they are always mourning. I see so many other relatives, friends in the society, always envious, fighting, and then there is always unhealthy competition, there is no cooperation. So in these kind of scenarios, we are bewildered as youngsters and not understanding what's really happening. So that's where Srila Prabhupada's message gave us solace, gave us satisfaction for us to understand what's really is happening, the truth.
That's why today so many young generation, not even young generation, even like those who are adults and in their mid 40s, 50s, if you go and talk to them, they will say, oh, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. So how does Krishna consciousness have a message for such people that, okay, you may not be religious, but you are spiritual. So how we can attract those kind of people in Krishna consciousness?
So today there is a phrase, something called being rich and looking rich. So if I have to look rich, even though my income is not so high, I spend money in expensive cars, in expensive gadgets, expensive watches, shoes and houses, luxury houses and extravagant lifestyle. So this is called looking rich. So being rich is planning for financial freedom and financial independence. So those who are being rich, they have lots of money, but they hardly spend in these kind of activities where they try to appear to be rich. So they are actually rich. So this gives us a difference between being rich and looking rich. Same way, today mostly people are looking religious, not being religious. So looking religious means they do not know what is religiosity, they want to appear to be religious. That cannot be faked, because really I have to be religious means I have to be religious. So being religious is called spiritual. Looking religious is always on a tottering platform. It is to show to others that I am religious, I am part of some so-called religious society, I have so-called guru, etc. But in reality, they are not really serious about being religious. This is the first thing. Second thing, Srila Prabhupada explains, dharma is an intrinsic, inseparable characteristic of an entity. Like sweetness is an intrinsic, inseparable characteristic of sugar. Same way, the dharma of the living entity, the soul, is to be eternal part and parcel of Krishna. So this knowledge is lacking in the society. It is more of a fashion today to be religious, to be part of a religious sect. I am a Hindu, I am a Muslim, I am a Christian, I am a Sikh, etc. without understanding the underlying fundamental principles of dharma. And dharma, when it is misinterpreted, misunderstood, mispropagated, it is named in English as religion or faith. In reality, dharma is not that changing type of religion or faith. So when it is understood in reality, in its fundamentality, dharma means it is eternal aspect of the soul. And that is called spirituality. Today religion is mostly a stamping done by Hindus that I am a Hindu, or I am born in certain place, I am Indian, I am American, etc. So Krishna does not speak of any such so-called man-made, artificial, cooked-up religion. Krishna speaks about a universal understanding of the identity of the soul which cannot be changed under any time, place, circumstances. So this is spiritual, And why people say that I am spiritual, I am not religious? Because they are able to see the atrocities, negative experiences, atrocities, and one religion, one person professing X religion trying to attack a person professing Y religion, so they have lost faith in that so-called religion. But religion per se, dharma, is not what people have misunderstood and mispropagated, and they are creating chaos. But the deeper meaning of dharma is spiritual nature of the soul. So we are here to give them the real knowledge and explain to them what is that real spirituality, and we can make the people understand that it is due to misconception of religion. People are going away from religion and they are saying that I want to be spiritual, not even understanding that what is the meaning of spirituality. So they have to be told about what is the actual definition of spirituality, which encompasses religion, philosophy and morality.
But how to convince, because I have seen in one family a person is there going a lot of temples, doing so many things, but on the other side, in the background, he is doing so many black things also.
So that is called looking spiritual, not being spiritual. So we are training people to be spiritual, not to look spiritual and show off their so-called spirituality, which may be misunderstood by people that he is faking spirituality. So that's why all of us as full-time missionaries, we are all trained to be spiritual and also look spiritual. So only looking spiritual gives a feeling that it's not worth, it's not practical. He or she is just trying to do it out of fashion, and really they don't have the principles or fundamentals right with them. This is the problem.
Prabhuji, going back to your again family and those things, in those days in India, families were very religious and the culture was there, and parents were involved in hearing Ramayana and Mahabharata. They have some ideas of our Vedic scriptures, but today if we see parents, they have no idea of Ramayana, no idea of Mahabharata, no idea of Bhagavad Gita, and on top of it their children are completely astray from our culture. They are into this iPads, this I world, this complete I world. So how to bring those people, especially those parents, coming back to our, because unless parents doesn't become Krishna conscious even a little bit, how can they teach children? So how to bridge this gap?
So the important task for all of us is, more than raising children, we have to raise the parents first. Because parents need to get trained, educated, but in the name of their children, we can raise the parents first and then they will raise the children properly. So the parents today, the parents, all of the society, they are all products of Kali Yuga. Their parents might have been religious 50 years back, but current days parents are more drawn towards unnecessary needs, unnecessary created social statuses, and they tend to only look after building their wealth, money, name, fame, status. They are lost in that temporary things, and due to their lifestyle, they are also not able to give their children a good lifestyle, good culture, good values. So that is where Srila Prabhupada is trying to educate the whole society, not only kids, youngsters, adults, elderly people, to everybody. We are giving a culture of Krishna consciousness which can purify, fine-tune their lifestyle, and in whatever status they are in, they can grow in their spiritual life irrespective of whether they are trained or not trained. Only thing what we want from them is their willingness to be exposed to the culture of Krishna consciousness. So in that systematic education what we give, they will be able to get maximum out of the training what we can impart them. So it is first requirement is to raise the parents in Krishna consciousness, so that the kids in their houses directly emulate they imitate what parents do. If the parents are throughout the day watching movies, they are on the iPhones full of gadgets, how can you expect a kid to not to do that? So that's where parents need acute training. They have to regulate their lifestyle, build up some aspects of Krishna consciousness, and they have to do a group activity of spiritual life in their house for few minutes, few hours. And parents have to give quality time to the children, explaining about Ramayana, Mahabharata and Indian culture and values. And that's how, seeing parents do all these activities in their house, kids will also most probably take up seriously these activities.
When was the first time in your life you heard about, oh, stress is there? Like, because when we were in school, college days, this problem was not there, this modern problem. Today we see even the teenagers, they are complaining about stress, and we are very much mentally disturbed, mental health, all those things. We have never heard in those days.
Yeah.
So when was that first time you experienced, and now the issues was not for the adults, but now the issue is with the teenagers. They are having mental health issues and these stress issues. So how to see this world in a different way today?
These words might not be used in the past, but these problems existed even in India when we were there. There were people who were stressed because of their childhood trauma, because of their not getting support by the parents or by peer pressure. They were not able to perform, they were not able to get jobs, they were not able to get good marks, they were not able to be having good spouses. So these issues were there, but because of the media today, it is more visible, more available for people to know in terms of statistics, and those experiences of stress, negativity, anxiety, depression has been named by doctors to make it more professional and then address those issues in the name of mental health.
Do you think that people are becoming more open up about these issues? People were not talking about this
No,
before?
people were talking about it, but it has got a professional approach now to solve those problems, because the problems also have increased. Problems were there, now these names are attributed to certain problems to identify that this is a particular problem, and these statistics are being provided so that there are particular doctors to deal with those kind of problems. And because of the technology rise and people not having purposes, goals in life, so they are engaged in these kind of activities. So I'll give you an example. As a girl in a house now, she has been hunting for mosquitoes, and she has been sticking all those mosquitoes on a sheet of paper with a sellotape, and she has a ledger of all the mosquitoes she has been killed. She has been killing and pasting, maybe I think around 800 mosquitoes or so she has killed, and she has given a name. And most of the names are male members, and actually the mosquitoes who bite is all female mosquitoes. So she has given the date, time, place of hunting those mosquitoes. She has created a ledger, and in Instagram there are some 8.3 million subscribers and seeing that kind of a video. Now you see, this girl has no positive activity. So she is engaged every day and she is feeling so happy killing a mosquito and pasting it, giving a male name like Suresh, etc., etc. It's there on the Instagram.
Maybe taking revenge from.
No, she is happy doing that. There is no revenge. There is a lot of energy, and now she wants to somehow do some unique activity and then gain the followership through Instagram. Something different she wants to do. So this is how the young population, this in the past, if you would have seen somebody doing that, even in the house, if you see somebody killing a mosquito, and it's only for ensuring that it doesn't bite, and then we use a mosquito net, etc. Now it has become a passion for people to kill and show that I have killed 800 mosquitoes. So they need direction, they need support, they need help, they need some hand holding to channelize their passion in something more productive than killing mosquitoes and creating a ledger of that. So this shows that direction is needed for people. So in current day, if people are not guided, they have a lot of energy, youth, they'll get misguided into these kind of activities. Today they're killing mosquito, tomorrow they may do something else more strong.
In Netflix, there is a new web series is there. It is talking about these mental health issues of teenagers, and they are naming it as adolescence something. There was one web series where a teenager killed his girlfriend, because she was not responding to her messages, and those conversations were going on through emojis. So because of not proper having that response coming back on his phone, he got so disturbed that he killed her and he committed suicide. So this, how does Bhagavad Gita, if it bring Bhagavad Gita into picture, how does Bhagavad Gita helps the teenagers and the adults in solving their mental health issues?